One of the great themes of Christian spirituality is self-knowledge. God is constantly trying to help us know ourselves more intimately. Strengths and weaknesses, faults, flaws, failings, defects, abilities, desires, yearnings. He wants us to know ourselves because he's put all these clues within us. He's given us talents and abilities and needs and dreams and hopes, and he's put all this stuff within us as clues about the journey he wants us to walk. And so the best version of yourself is not something you choose. It's something you discover. And it might sound like a little thing, but it is not a little thing. Especially when you look at how our culture might interpret the concept of the best version of yourself. You know, our culture might interpret, and our culture does interpret, many things like, I get to choose who I am. You know, I get to choose, you know, what aspects of me are most important or least important, you know, or I get to choose what I'm going to be. Christian spirituality doesn't look at it that way. As Christians, we see it as a discovery. We see it as, okay, God has already placed all this stuff within us. He's created us. Now he wants us to discover who we truly are. He wants us to discover that best version of ourselves. And of course, we discover that best version of ourselves by discovering more and more about him. And so it's like this parallel happening event in our spirituality where we learn more about ourselves, we learn more about God. Now, some people would say, well, why don't we learn more about God first and then learn more about ourselves? It's a fabulous question, because the reality is that without self-knowledge, we actually would never even turn to God. We actually would never even discover God, in a sense, because it's only by discovering that we are not God that we turn to, okay, well, who created all of this? If I'm not God and I didn't create all of this and I didn't put all this together, then who did that? You know, and I want to talk to that guy. You know, I want to spend some time with that person, because whoever put all of this together is a genius, right? Whoever put all of this together, this whole world, this whole universe, the human being, the hand, you look at the hand, you think how many muscles and tendons and bones and that whole thing just in one hand. You realize there's miracles everywhere, and those miracles are not accidental, and they are by design, and they are intentional, and you're not accidental, and you are by design, and you are intentional, and you have specific dreams and desires and hopes and ambitions. But guess what? You got fears too. You're afraid of things. I'm afraid of things. And very often, it's those fears that stop us from making progress. It's those fears that stop us from celebrating progress. We think, oh, I'm afraid to celebrate progress because then I might not make any more progress. And of course, that's just some form of ancient medieval superstition. That's not reality. So let's cut to the chase. What's the point? The point is, God has created you, incredibly unique human being, and he wants you to discover and celebrate that incredibly unique human being. And then he wants you to go out into the world and offer your gifts to the rest of humanity. And that's why discovering who we are is so important And that's why God wants you to discover who you are, not on a surface level, but deep, 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 in a really very deep way, so that you can go into the world confident of who God has created you to be. And that's a real confidence. That's not a false, manufactured self-confidence. Going out into the world knowing who God has created you to be, that's confidence. And God wants to fill you with that confidence and send you out into the world to live out the mission He created you for.
Did you know that 71% of the people that watch Matthew Kelly's videos are not subscribers? That makes no sense. We need to change that. Subscribe today. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and turn on those notifications so you never miss out on another great video ever again.